Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Friday, November 21st. There is a lot going on in the world of sports, but as you know, every single Friday, we take a look at the biggest sports news and the biggest sports stuff coming up over the weekend. That's right. The NFL, college football is kings. We'll do our game picks. We're going to take a look back at a crazy Thursday night football game that took place last night that saw the Texans take down Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills 23-19. And of course, NFL game picks as well. Let's start off with those Houston Texans. They get a massive win, and it's right behind that number one defense in the NFL. A defense that had 8 sacks, count them, 8 sacks against Josh Allen, one of the most unsackable quarterbacks in the NFL. A guy whose superpower is not taking negative plays. Sacks are one of the worst things you can take as a quarterback, right? It's almost as bad as a turnover. Now, it's not quite as bad as a turnover. He did have 2 interceptions, both by safety, both by the safety Bullock over there for the Texans. He had an amazing game. A bunch of forced fumbles. Khalil Shakir fumbled. We had a fumble from James Cook. The Texans defense was flying around. That offense for the Bills couldn't get anything done. An offense that was one of the main reasons they were 7-3 heading into this game. One of the main reasons they were still looked at as a Super Bowl contender heading into this game. The Buffalo Bills are in trouble. We already knew that defense wasn't good. This is not news. That defense was not good. We knew heading into this game that the Bills' defense was the weak link. The running defense was the second worst run defense by yards per game allowed in the NFL. But that pass defense, it's not getting much better. They're down Christian Benford now, who, when he went down against the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, that's what kind of spelled their doom. The Bills had nothing behind him, and Maxwell Harrison, their second-round pick, has been good this season, but he's also dealing with an injury now. There's lots of really important players for that Bills defense dealing with injuries at a point when the Bills can't really afford to lose players with injury. They're already not going to win their division, but now they're in danger of not even making the playoffs. Josh Allen not making the playoffs is not a sentence that I think computes in most NFL fans' minds, but when you look at their schedules down the stretch, right? You look at what's coming up for all of these teams. The Bills have a tough one. They lose this game to the Texans. Then they have the Steelers, the Bengals with Joe Burrow coming back, the Patriots, who they already lost to once. This time it's in Foxborough. The Browns and their defense. We just saw what an elite defense did to the Bills just now. The Eagles, another elite defense, and then they finish it off with the Jets. I see 2-3 wins in there. That's going to get you to 10 wins on the season, which could be enough to get you to the playoffs, but now you don't have a tiebreaker against the Texans, who, after a win against the Bills, don't necessarily have the easiest schedule either, but with a defense like that, if they can shut down the Bills, they can shut down the Colts, they can shut down the Chiefs, they can shut down the Cardinals and the Raiders and the Chargers. This is a team that, if they get any kind of solid offensive production like they've gotten under Davis Mills, if you don't make mistakes offensively, if you take what the defense is giving you, you hit those field goals, you get your points every single drive, this is a team that is going to cause some havoc in the AFC, and they've already taken out a couple of tough opponents. The Bills, namely, they beat the Jaguars. They have the tiebreaker over them for now. That is huge. I don't think we understand how huge that is. 1-1 against the Jags so far this season. The Texans are going to cause problems. Their defense is elite. Woody Marks with a huge game. He does his thing yet again against a bad Bills run defense. But Davis Mills, that's right, Davis Mills improves to 3-0 on the season. Who on their bingo card had Davis Mills as an undefeated quarterback this season? I know I didn't. There's going to start to be some conversations around CJ Stroud in Houston. I know there were already some conversations of, was CJ Stroud's rookie season a fluke? Did people figure out CJ Stroud? There were all the things about the way he was testing coming out of college. I still think he's a fringe top 10 quarterback if he has an offensive line, but the offensive line is the same offensive line that Davis Mills is dealing with. And he doesn't have to have those excuses. He's still getting it out to the wide receivers. He's finding Christian Kirk open down low. He's finding his checkdowns. He's finding his tight ends. He's finding Nico Collins. Most importantly, he's finding Jaden Higgins. He's finding Noel. These are guys that CJ Stroud has struggled this season to connect with. These are guys that CJ Stroud has not been able to make those throws to. Maybe it's the offensive line's fault, and I wouldn't blame him if it was. Look, this is a gauntlet of a schedule. And to Davis Mills' discredit, he's played the Jags, the Titans, and the Bills. The Titans, they only won by 3. The Jags, he had an incredible comeback. The Jags will just Jaguars sometimes. And then the Bills' defense just isn't that great. But what CJ Stroud had to deal with, the Rams, the Bucks, the Jags, the Titans, a win, the Ravens, a win, and the Seahawks, the 49ers, right? A win. He beat the 49ers. That's huge. The Broncos, right? These are not easy games. These are not easy defenses to go against. And yet, the Texans are succeeding without CJ Stroud. We've seen a lot of soft benchings in the NFL this season. It's not confirmed, but I feel like we've seen a lot of them where you have an injury and you just hold them out a little bit longer because your backup's playing good. You look at San Francisco, who insists it's not a soft benching, but it definitely was. I think Brock Purdy could have come back a week or two early, but Mac Jones was playing good football, so why end a good thing? We've seen a soft benching in Minnesota with Carson Wentz playing 3 weeks longer than he should have probably because he was playing on a broken shoulder, a broken throwing shoulder, and J.J. McCarthy just wasn't cutting it. They finally bring him back in when they absolutely have to. They weren't going to turn to Minnesota Max Brosmer over there, the undrafted rookie out of Minnesota. I don't understand. There's been a lot of soft benchings, but now 3 weeks out for a concussion. They have 10 days to rest before they face the Colts in a division matchup that's going to set the stage for the rest of the season and the top of the AFC South. The Colts have not clinched this division. The Texans might have 5 losses, but the Colts down the stretch here have every ability to choke this division away. They've got the Chiefs this week, the Texans the week after that, the Jaguars another division game on the road, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Jags again, and then the Texans to end the season. Those are not easy matchups. These are all teams that are at minimum in the playoff hunt and at best in the playoffs. At the top of their division. These are really good football teams that the Colts are going to have to run the gauntlet. They haven't really had to run the gauntlet so far this season. They played the Dolphins. They played the Broncos, the Titans, the Rams, the Raiders, Cardinals, Chargers, Titans, Steelers, Falcons. That's like 4 tough teams. And you can only play the teams that are in front of you, right? You can only play the teams that are in front of you. But this schedule gets significantly tougher down the stretch. Significantly tougher. It's not even close to the front half schedule. They're on their bye this week. They're coming off their bye last week. Now they hit their gauntlet, and they need to hit the ground running because a bunch of division games and a bunch of tough tests outside, Chiefs, Seahawks on the road, Niners on Monday Night Football, these are not easy games to play. They're going to need a lot out of Jonathan Taylor, and this AFC South is not as over as we think it is. The Texans are not as out as we thought they were, and the Jaguars still have a running chance in this division as well. They also have a good shot to make the playoffs. There's a lot to take a look at, but I do want to circle back to that Texans defense real quick. This is a Texans defense that has been, by most metrics, the best defense in the NFL all season. And we saw that last night. We saw them. 8 sacks. Again, 4 forced turnovers. They had a pick six. It got called back because of block on the back. Didn't matter. They won that game. Matt Prater misses an extra point, which leads to that 4th down situation where they have to go for it instead of kicking a field goal to send the game to overtime. This game was a really good Thursday night football game, but it didn't feel like the Bills were in it. It felt like this was utter domination from the Texans. And the reason we feel that way is because a lot of the points that the Bills had to score were off of special teams, right? You had a huge kickoff return for a touchdown by backup running back Ray Davis. He goes out there, absolutely kills it. Spin move off of his own guy, jukes everyone out, and then he goes all the way into the end zone. That is 7 of their 19 points right there. Outside of that, they score a touchdown on a long run from James Cook in the early drive, right? Missed the extra point. We're up to 13 of the 19, and then it's just field goals. That's all it is. The special teams did a lot of the heavy lifting for the Bills on this game, and that's why this game didn't feel close. Now, special teams is a third of the game. We know that. And special teams give and they taketh away, right? That's what we saw with the Bills, with the missed Matt Prater extra point and the touchdown by Ray Davis. It's just tough to go up against that Houston defense. Again, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter giving the offensive line, one of the better offensive lines in football, fits all night long. It doesn't help when Spencer Brown goes down with injury, has to try and play through it when dealing with 2 of the best pass rushers in the game, one of the best pass rushing duos in the game. It's not going to be easy for him. It's not going to be easy for Josh Allen, and we saw the frustration. Josh Allen also went down early in that game with what looked like an injury to his throwing hand. Now, he didn't miss a snap. That's something to watch because he looked like he re-aggravated it on the final drive. He kept shaking his hand. He kept doing this. He kept shaking his hand a whole bunch. That is going to be a huge situation to monitor because the Bills at 7-4 right now, they are in real danger of missing the playoffs. They need Josh Allen to go Superman mode. That's what he did against the Bucs, but he can't do that every game. He can't. You can't expect him to. He did that all last season. That's why he won MVP. But he can't do it every game. He's going to get hurt. Things are going to happen. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, but he's not Superman. He's not invincible. He's not invulnerable. Something's going to happen when you keep taking this many hits, and they need to find a better way to protect him. But the Bills won't win games if he doesn't go Superman mode, so it's a tough act to balance. Josh Allen's good enough that I'm not super worried about the Bills. But if they keep playing like this, that defense a real concern. If they can't beat a Texans offense that's not doing anything, I know that defense is elite, and that's what we were talking about heading into this game. That elite Texans defense gives Josh Allen fits. Josh Allen now 0-4 in his career against the Texans. A playoff game, his worst game of the season last year, went 9 for 30 against the Texans. Still won the MVP. I'm just a little concerned about Josh Allen and the Bills this season. An off year, it happens. We're seeing an off year from just about every one of the major NFL quarterbacks. The top 4 NFL quarterbacks, the Mount Rushmore of current NFL quarterbacks, your Josh Allens, your Patrick Mahomes, your Lamar Jacksons, your Joe Burrows, right? These are the guys that consensus heading into the season were the top 4. They're all pretty much having not great seasons, other than Patrick Mahomes, who's having a great season, but his team is not winning games the way that you would expect with the season he is having. So those 4 quarterbacks not having the season we expect them to have, a lot to look forward to. NFL Week 12 is here. We will go over each and every game. We'll pick a game. I'll give you a score, and we'll go over everything you need to know for this weekend in football. We'll be right back here on the Triple Threat Show. Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Friday, November 21st. If you were just tuning in, we just finished going over the Thursday Night Football domination from that Texans defense. 8 sacks, 4 turnovers forced, and an absolutely huge win for Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. Keeps their playoff hopes alive, give them another win over a potential wild card foe. The tiebreakers keep stacking up in favor of the Houston Texans. But it's time every single Friday. We go around the NFL. We take a look at the biggest matchups, not just the biggest matchups, but every single matchups. I'll give you a winner, I'll give you a score, and I'll tell you exactly how each game is going to go. Let's start off with the 1 o'clock games in the NFL. The Steelers take on the Bears. The Steelers seem like Aaron Rodgers is going to play. That is a big if. Steelers, Aaron Rodgers going to play against the Bears. That's what it's looking like as far as Friday morning. We still need to see if he practices today. If he practices in full, which I assume he's going to play. He loves playing for the Chicago Bears. That is a famous quote of his. I own the Bears. The Bears have been playing with fire all year long. They have been on a win streak, but this has not been super impressive wins. Ben Johnson is coaching them to come back, be ready, and have these great comebacks efforts. But this is a Steelers defense that's playing really good right now. This is a Bears offense that I feel like is just not as consistent as they need to be. And with Aaron Rodgers returning to Chicago, I'm taking him. One last hurrah in Chicago. He ends his ownership of Chicago one more time with a tight win, 31-29. The Patriots travel to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Patriots seem to be in the driver's seat, 9-2 right now on the season, but the Bengals don't look now are getting Joe Burrow back. I am very, very confident that Joe Burrow will play on Sunday. He's now played 2 straight practices in full, and it looks like he's ready to come back and make a push for the playoffs for the Bengals. They're not mathematically eliminated. They still have a chance, and the Patriots are step number 1 on that list. This Bengals defense is still really bad, and the Bengals do not have Jamar Chase after he spit on Jalen Ramsey last game against the Steelers. I'm taking the Patriots to win this one, but it is going to be a shootout. The Bengals with Joe Burrow, they're going to be ready. They're going to put points up on the board, even against a good Patriots defense. T. Higgins is still there. I think Chase Brown can have a good game. They're getting Mike Gesicki back. I like him at the tight end position. Andre Yoshivas could have a huge game from the slot. I like his spot. The Patriots are going to be able to put up points as well, because that's not a good Bengals defense. Look for Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, who's making his return to the lineup, to have a good game against an awful Bengals run defense. Drake May's going to do his thing. The Patriots are going to put up 40 points, and they're going to win, but it's going to be closer than people think. I'm taking the Patriots 41-36. The Giants travel to the Lions, another one of these blowout games, potentially. The status is still up in the air on Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is one of these players that if he's in the game is going to keep it close. They're not necessarily going to win this game. This is a tough Lions defense. We've seen what they've done to some of the top players in the NFL. We've seen what the Lions have done to some of the top quarterbacks. They absolutely shut down Baker Mayfield when they played earlier this season, right? They absolutely shut down the Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs when they played last time out, although the Chiefs were able to win that game. They've had a couple of huge wins have the Lions. I need to see more out of Jared Goff. I think he'll be able to do it, although that Giants pass rush, if they can get pressure on him, is going to be a problem. That secondary is still banged up a little bit. The Lions should win this game, but the scoreline, the difference between these two teams is going to depend basically entirely on if Jackson Dart is playing or not. Because if Jackson Dart is playing, the Giants have a fighting chance. The Giants can put up 30 points. I still think the Lions win. I've got it at 45-20 with Jameis Winston, and I've got it at 45-30 if it's Jackson Dart. The Packers take on the Minnesota Vikings. Jordan Love looking to rebound from what was not a great game. He's had a series of not great games, but it's almost Toyotathon. And when Toyotathon starts, that's when Jordan Love heats up. The Packers defense still really good. The big concern for the Packers, potentially no Josh Jacobs. They're going to have to rely on a bunch of backup running backs. Emmanuel Wilson has had a pretty solid season behind Josh Jacobs, but the Packers, after a tight win against the Giants last time out, get J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, who are hungry to get back on the winning side of the football. I like Micah Parsons. I like that defense a lot. I think that's going to leave them with the just enough to win. It's going to be a close game. I'm taking the Packers, though, 27-20. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Tennessee to take on the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, and the Tennessee Titans. It really is just Cam Ward out there. I'm starting to feel bad for the guy. He is doing everything he can. If you look at box scores, he doesn't look that good, but he doesn't have anyone to throw the ball to. His receivers are constantly stopping on routes. His receivers are constantly dropping the ball. He's putting the ball where he needs to put it. He's dealing with a really bad offensive line against some really good pressure. I think the Seahawks defense are going to be all up and in his face all game long. Sam Darnold should return to form after a 4-interception day against the Rams. This Titans defense doesn't have that same kind of presence as that Rams defense does. The Seahawks are going to dominate this one, 49-14. Seahawks shellac the Titans. Colts travel to the Chiefs. Potential game of the week scenario right here. Game of the week. The Colts and the Chiefs. The Colts currently one of the best records in all of football. Jonathan Taylor playing like an MVP candidate. Daniel Jones, if he doesn't make mistakes, is playing really good football right now. Patrick Mahomes also playing great football, but that run game has been the worst in the NFL. Now, neither of these defenses are really that great. The Colts defense is okay. You could say the same thing about the Chiefs. So I expect there to be a lot of points put up here. In Arrowhead, it's going to be tough for the Colts to get a win, but I think Jonathan Taylor is the X factor. I think he's going to have a good enough game that Daniel Jones and that offense can get going, and the Colts come out with a huge victory against the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of put the death knell in the Kansas City Chiefs coffin. They might not make the playoffs. Them and the Bills, both missing the playoffs this year, would be absolutely insane. I don't think anybody in the entire world had both of those teams missing the playoffs this year. I'm taking the Colts 31-27. The Jets travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Justin Fields, no longer the starter. It's going to be Tyrod Taylor taking on his former team, the Baltimore Ravens. They are going to lose this game. They traded away their 2 best defensive players. Lamar Jackson is back. Derrick Henry is still there. He's going to run wild in this one. I think the Ravens dominate. They win 35-17. Tank Bowl, disgusting game. The Browns take on the Raiders. Shadur Sanders makes his first career start. There's probably not a better team in football to do it except they have Max Crosby on that other side. Max Crosby is going to have a huge game. Myles Garrett is going to have a huge game. We're going back to 1920s football, baby. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. It's going to be absolute chaos. It's going to be nobody scores in this game. Maybe we see a touchdown. I'm looking 13-9, and the Browns win this on the strength of their defense. I think that's about it. That's the only difference in this game. Neither of these offenses are going to be able to move the ball, but that Browns defense is really good, and that Raiders defense is really not good. I'm taking the Browns 13-9. The Jaguars travel to the desert. They take on Jacoby Brissett coming off of an all-time historic game. And the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett coming off of a 400-yard passing game. He just set an NFL record for most completions in a game, and it wasn't even inefficient. He played good football. It just was not enough to win, and that's kind of been the story of this Cardinals season. All season long, Jacoby Brissett, when he started, has played good enough for the Cardinals to win, and yet that defense cannot stop anything. I think Travis Etienne has a huge game. I think Bashal Tutin has a huge game. I think we get to see more out of out of trade deadline acquisition, Jacoby Myers, he has a big game, and I think the Jaguars win this one 24-20. A big divisional matchup as we start to turn the page into the later hours of Sunday as the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, take on the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are playing with emotion right now. Of course, they lose Marshawn Kneeland. Unfortunate situation over there. Took his own life over the bye week. They played with a lot of emotion last time out. They're playing the rest of the season for him. They're also playing really good offensively. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, the way they're playing right now, that's the best wide receiver duo in the NFL, only really rivaled by the Rams wide receiver duo of Puka and Devontae Adams. This is a Cowboys offense under Dak Prescott that has looked really good, especially at home against division opponents. 21-2 in his career. Dak Prescott is at home against his division. He's going to have a massive game. This is an Eagles defense that shut down the last few quarterbacks they've played, Jordan Love and Jared Goff. But Dak Prescott, I think pretty easily is better than those two guys. I don't think they're in the same tier of quarterbacks. Maybe you could put Jordan Love in the same tier, but Jared Goff, I think, is a tier behind the other two guys. The Cowboys have all the weapons. The Cowboys are playing good football. And most importantly, the Cowboys defense got a lot better. I know that we're talking about this Cowboys defense that is not good, right? But they add Quinnen Williams at the deadline, right? They go out and they get two of their guys back from injury. One of them, a draftee out of East Carolina University, Siobhan Revell, one of the corners I was really high on. He had a pretty good game against the Raiders in his season debut, his career debut for the Cowboys. They get Overshown back as well, who has suffered a season-ending injury near the end of last season. He's going to be a huge part of this. They have a lot of pieces that are stepping up. I'm taking this Cowboys team. Of course, they trade for the linebacker Wilson from Cincinnati as well. The Cowboys, I think, continue their hot streak. They beat the Eagles, and then chaos ensues over in Philly. The Cowboys win 35-31. I just talked up their defense, but it's still not great. I'm still taking the Cowboys to win, though. I think their offense is good enough. Kirk Cousins. Welcome back to the starting quarterback world, Kirk Cousins. You will start the rest of the season for the Falcons as Michael Penix Jr. suffers another season-ending injury, his fourth ACL tear of his career dating back to college. That's really tough, and it's really unfortunate for a guy that I think has a lot of talent. But so does this Falcons team. No Drake London, that's fine. People are sleeping on the Falcons. I understand they have not played good. I really do understand that. But they're playing the New Orleans Saints. This is not like they're playing the Bills. It's not like they're playing the Chiefs. It's not like they're playing the Rams. The Saints are favored in this game. Why are the Saints favored in this game? It makes no sense to me. Tyler Shuck is not a great NFL quarterback. We have seen Kirk Cousins do it before. We've seen it. It's been done. Recently, he did it a little bit last season against some good opponents. Against the Bucs last season, a playoff team, he had some really good games. He's still got some juice left. He's not done. He is going to win this game for the Falcons. I don't understand why the Saints are favored. This one makes no sense to me. This is the weirdest line of the week. I'm taking the Falcons 27-19. Look for Kyle Pitts to get into the end zone. And the Saints lose another one as they continue on their tank bowl. Sunday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield travel into his old stomping grounds, Los Angeles. Sean McVay and the Rams take the best record in their division, Super Bowl favorites right now, at least in my eyes, and maybe the best team in the NFL, the Rams against the Bucs. The Bucs defense is serviceable. The Rams defense is really good. It's not an elite defense, but it's a really good defense. The Buccaneers come into this game after a series of tough losses, most recently when Josh Allen went superhero mode against them, which I guess that just happens sometimes. It does. It does just happen sometimes. This line is too big. 7 points in favor of the Rams. That's way too many points. I still think the Rams pull this one out. Puka's going to have a big game. I think the wide receivers are going to feast. Kyren Williams should be able to get free on the ground. But I do think the Bucs are going to hang tough in this one. And I'm taking the Rams. But it's not going to be a blowout. Rams 31, Buccaneers 27. Final game of the week. Monday Night Football. The red hot Carolina Panthers, led by Bryce Young, led by Rico Dowdle, led by Tet McMillan, traveled to San Francisco to take on Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, and the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers come into this game after absolutely mollywopping the Cardinals. Oh my God, 44-22, and it wasn't even close. The Cardinals still had a really good game. We talked about Jacoby Brissett's historic start to the historic start last week. Still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The 49ers absolutely dominated that game. I think we see a little bit more of the same. It's not going to be as bad. I like that Panthers defense a little bit more than I like that Cardinals defense. I think the Cardinals defense is one of the worst in the NFL, and the Panthers is just kind of okay. They've got some really solid pieces up front and in the secondary, so there's a lot to like about this Panthers team. They're playing with fight. They've been close in just about every game that they've played so far this season, and now they get the 49ers. Brock Purdy is always there to have a stinker in him at least once, and I think this is the one. I think Christian McCaffrey has a huge game. I think the 49ers still win this one. I'm not going too crazy with this, but I do think it's a little bit closer than that 7-point line. I'm taking the 49ers 28-23. But let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the NFL. I'll run through my picks one more time. I'm taking the Steelers, the Patriots, the Lions, the Packers, the Seahawks, the Colts, the Rams, the Browns, Jaguars, Cowboys, Falcons, Rams, and the 49ers on Monday Night Football. But there's more football to talk about this weekend. I know. We are getting down to it. Only 2 weeks left in the regular season in college football. We're going to talk about that coming up next. There's a bunch of big games I want to go over. We'll talk about who's going to win each one. That's coming up next here on the Triple Threat Show. Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Friday, and on Friday, we do game picks. We just went over our NFL game picks. Now it's time to turn our attention down a level. We go to college football, where the college football playoff races are heating up, where there's massive games this weekend with massive playoff implications on the line, where there's massive games everywhere you look. We'll talk about all of the biggest matchups and more, but let's start off in our college football game picks with some of the ranked matchups we have this week. Number 22, Missouri, travels to number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off of a massive win, the biggest win of their season so far against Alabama. The Crimson Tide fall all the way to 10th in the ranking after a loss to Oklahoma. That defense is flying around. Oh my God, that defense is flying around. John Mateer is still not 100%, I don't think, but that run game is finally starting to get going, so he doesn't have to be Superman. If John Mateer is out there and if he has to be Superman, he can be. This is a good Missouri team. I don't want to discredit Missouri. I really don't. They have Ahmad Hardy, who's one of the best running backs in the country, but they're down their starting quarterback, and that pass game just has not been the same since Bo Perbula was in the lineup. He's been out for a while, and we've seen Missouri struggle since. This is a good Missouri Tigers team. It's a good team, but it's not a playoff team, while Oklahoma absolutely is. Oklahoma should win this one. I'm not too concerned about it. It might be a little closer than people think because Missouri and that run game can keep it close, but that defense of Oklahoma, it's just going to be too good. I think we're going to see a similar-ish game to what we saw last night in the NFL. Miami travels to Virginia Tech, and this one might seem like, why are we covering this one, Jeremy? It's Miami. Miami's going to dominate this one. Virginia Tech sucks. They've got nothing to look forward to. They're probably just paying attention to that Commonwealth Cup game against Virginia, one of the biggest Commonwealth Cups in a very long time. But you have to remember, Virginia Tech has so much momentum from this week. They hired James Franklin. That is an absolute boost to everyone in that program, whether that be for next season, for the fans. This is in Blacksburg. This is at Virginia Tech, one of the toughest stadiums to play at in the country, and that stadium's going to be rocking. That stadium's going to be packed. Miami likes to lose games late in the season, and I'm not ready to say that this is an absolute easy game, stress-free game for 13th ranked Miami. Miami, I think, has got a tough test here. Kyron Drones can get it done. He can. I'm still taking Miami, but this one's going to be a sweat fest. Mario Cristobal has not proven to me he can win these kind of games late in the season. We saw it against the Syracuse team last year. It's going to be really interesting to see. Louisville traveling to take on SMU. This one kind of feels like it's lost its luster a little bit, but Louisville is still a very good football team. Louisville and SMU, both very good football teams. They're not probably going to make the playoffs, but this game has a lot of implications for teams that are battling for the playoffs, especially in the ACC. SMU has an outside shot at making it to the ACC championship game if they win out and a couple teams ahead of them lose, which very well could happen this week. Louisville trying to play spoiler for them. If they win this game, it boosts the resume of Virginia. It boosts the resume of James Madison. It lowers the resume. It boosts the resume of Miami if they win this game because they beat Miami. Both of these teams actually beat Miami, so either way, it's going to be a boost to Miami. But I'm taking Louisville in this one. SMU is playing great football, and they have not lost more than one ACC game in each of the last couple seasons. But I think Louisville is going to come in with a different energy after that loss to Clemson. I think they're ready to get revenge, ready to prove to people that they are a dangerous football team. Washington State traveled all the way across the country. They're taking on James Madison. This is an elimination game for James Madison. Right now, the committee's disrespecting them. They're disrespecting them. They're putting Tulane in over James Madison. What are they doing over there? Tulane lost by 22 points to UTSA, who lost to Texas State, who James Madison beat by like 40 points. They dropped 50 on that team. Transitive property, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't always work. You can use that argument. I know. But still, James Madison should be the front runner, but this is probably their toughest game of the season outside of that game against Louisville. Washington State has a really good defense. They like to run the ball. Now, that's James Madison's strength on defense. They allowed one single yard to App State on the ground last week. One single yard, just one, only one. Not two, not three, just one. 1 yard on the ground to App State last time out. That's an elite run defense. Washington State has played teams tough. They've played Ole Miss. They only lost by 3. They've played a lot of tough teams. Ole Miss, the sixth ranked team in the country right now. They're really good at football. James Madison, I think, gets this one done, but this is going to be a sweat fest. If JMU wants to prove that they belong in the playoffs, they're going to need to blow them out. I don't really know if that's going to happen. Marvel helmets, though, choose your favorite, 1 of 5 players. I think I'd go with the Hulk on this one if I'm playing football, just because got to smash through that offensive line. That's the mentality I want James Madison to have. Baylor at Arizona in a big Big 12 matchup. Baylor just fired their head coach. Doesn't mean much to them, but Arizona looking to get an 8th win on the season. They've had a really good story. They're fringe top 25 for me right now. Baylor kind of struggling. They're a good team. Their defense just isn't there right now. Arizona takes this one, and I think it's going to be really interesting at the top of that Pac-12 next season. The big game, the big game this season, USC at Oregon. USC at Oregon. This is where College Game Day is. And when I say college football playoff elimination game, this is what it looks like. The USC Trojans with 2 losses heading into this one against the Oregon Ducks, whose 1 loss so far this season has come against Indiana. That was at home too. Oregon, the number 7 ranked team in the country. USC, the number 15. This is going to decide which one of these 2 teams gets into the playoff. A USC win vaults them into the top 10. An Oregon loss drops them out of the top 10. And really, it's not even that close. We've seen Oregon falter against some good teams. They almost lost to Penn State Now, granted, Indiana also almost lost to Penn State. They had to go to double overtime, did Oregon, against Penn State. USC has lost to Notre Dame. That's a quality loss. I mean, Notre Dame, a top 10 team in the nation, ranked above Alabama. That's a good football team. Oregon looking to rebound, get their first real win of the season. They need this one bad. USC needs this one bad, but I think the Trojans spoil the party. Oregon just does not have it this year. I think USC gets into the playoffs and the Ducks fall all the way out. Arkansas travels to take on number 17 Texas. It's insane to me that Texas still has a playoff shot. They shouldn't have a playoff shot. They've got 3 losses. I don't care who they lost to. I don't care who they beat. They've got 3 losses. A team with 3 losses should not get into the college football playoff. It just shouldn't work that way, especially with 12 teams. Texas's brand is huge. I don't care. Get them out of the college football playoffs. They don't deserve a shot. Arkansas, a pesky team. They're not a great team, but they're a pesky team. They've got a shot if Texas plays sloppy. That offense, not consistent at all. Arch Manning has really disappointed this year. I'm taking Texas to win this one, but Arkansas look to keep it close. Another big group of 5 matchup, this one in the American, the committee's favorite conference. Tulane, the group of 5 favorite right now, travels to Temple to take on, I keep using this word, a frisky Temple team. Temple, not going to blow your doors off, not going to blow your socks off, but Temple is a good football team. Tulane, their coach, John Summerall, went out and said, we don't deserve to be ranked top 25. Sometimes I think we're a bottom 25 team. That's what he said. His words, not mine. Temple's going to come out, but I think with that speech, Tulane's going to be fired up, and I think they're going to win this one. They take care of business at Temple, and they keep their grip on that college football playoff spot. Pitt travels to Georgia Tech. This one's really interesting. This one is super interesting. Look, I understand. Pitt just got the doors blown off of them by a good Notre Dame team. Georgia Tech just survived on a walk-off field goal. They had to come back by more than 10 points against Boston College. A Boston College team that has yet to beat an FBS team this season. That's not a good look for Georgia Tech. They won the game, but that's not a good look for your Yellow Jackets over there. You need to see more out of them. I need to see more out of them. Georgia Tech is going to give Pitt a fight. Pitt is going to give Georgia Tech a fight. I think Eli Holstein gives Georgia Tech a real big fight, and I think Pitt pulls this one off, puts themselves into the ACC championship conversation yet again. A big win for Pitt, and Georgia Tech finally falls. They've been playing with fire too much. That's really what it comes down to. I like Haynes King. I really do. He's a good quarterback. He's a fun college player to watch. He's got all the talent in his legs, but Pitt, I think, just gets this one done. I trust that defense. I trust that offense, and I just don't trust that Georgia Tech team that let 34 points up to the Boston College Eagles. Couple more games to go over, and then we'll call it a day. The number 20 Tennessee Volunteers travel to Florida, and I know that doesn't sound like a big game. It might have been at the beginning of the season. The Volunteers, they're so much better. Joey Aguilar's having a great season. DJ Lagway not having a great season, but Florida's been trying, kind of cooking it up a little bit. They had a really good first half last time out, and I think if Tennessee's not careful in a rivalry game, Florida's going to be able to make some big noise against them. I'm still leaning Tennessee in this one, but I just don't see it as an easy win at all for the 20th ranked team in the nation. Illinois back in the ranking for some reason. Don't understand that. But they travel to Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team that's given a lot of teams fits so far this season. They're going to play them close, but Illinois is going to win it. And the final game I wanted to go over here today, number 11 BYU going up on the road, a place that they've struggled a little bit this season, at Cincinnati. The Bearcats this year were just ranked in the top 25. The college football playoff bowl. They took a tough loss to a good Arizona team by 1 possession last time out. BYU, better than Arizona, I believe. They had a comeback effort against Arizona, so it's a little bit of a tough game. I'm taking BYU in this one, but it's not going to be comfortable at all. Cincinnati's going to keep it close. They really are. This is a good Cincinnati squad. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a good defense, but BYU, just the way that they're able to play team football, The way their defense is able to step up, create opportunities for the offense. The way the offense is able to control the game, give rest to the defense. I'm taking BYU in this one. They should win. I'll run over my picks one more time on this pretty good slate of college football games. Oklahoma over Missouri, Miami over Virginia Tech, Louisville over SMU, JMU over Wazoo, Arizona over Baylor, USC in an upset over Oregon, Texas over Arkansas, Tulane over Temple, Pitt in another upset over Georgia Tech, Tennessee over Florida, Illinois over Wisconsin, and finally, BYU, the Cougars stay alive at the win over Cincinnati. Those are your college football game picks. Those are your NFL game picks. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, it is time for Rob's rankings, the inaugural rankings, the top 10 NBA teams in the NBA right now. We'll talk about that next here on the Triple Threat Show. Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Friday, November 21st. If you're just tuning in, what have you been doing? You missed out on a good one. We went over all of the game picks, college football, NFL for this weekend. So if you're there, you know what's going on. We also went over what was a wild Thursday night football game earlier on in the show. Now we turn our attention over to our co-host and friend, Mehrob Fatemi. He has his inaugural Rob's Rankings. He will go over every single Friday a top 10 list in the NBA. He is, of course, our NBA guru here, our NBA expert. So I'm going to turn the floor over to him. Mehrob, in the car driving, he's a bunch of advertisements right now. Welcome in, Mehrob. How are you doing today? Let's hear your top 10 NBA teams.
What's going on, Jeremy? Just tuning into the show. Figured I'd hop on here. Thank you for answering the call. This has been a pretty fun first month of the season here in the NBA. So we're just gonna rattle off a quick top 5 list. At number 5, for just quick disclaimer, expect a lot of Western Conference teams, especially with how the Western Conference has been playing. At number 5, I'm starting with the Lakers.
Ooh.
The Showtime Lakers getting their main man LeBron James back in the fold. Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic have held it down. DeAndre Ayton is playing like a top 10 big man, probably honestly closer to top 5 big man in the league right now. He deserves a lot of credit. I'm really loving the way that this Lakers team is playing. I think LeBron's going to add some more size down low, some defense, hopefully. Hopefully, I say, because we know LeBron James in the regular season does not play defense. But it's just going to be interesting. I have them sitting at 5 just because I don't know how this team's going to look offensively. I don't know if LeBron's going to disrupt that a little bit. We'll see how it all plays out. But I have them sitting at number 5 so far in my first time top 5 NBA list here. At number 4, we're moving over to Houston, Texas with the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant has been playing phenomenal, averaging over 25 points a game. Amen Thompson's been playing great. Alperen Sengun is a monster. I have them sitting at number 4. They had a big-time win over the Cavs. Even though the Cavs almost came back, the Rockets were up 20 points in that game, and the Cavs almost came back on them. Made it a 5-point game at one point going into in the middle of the fourth quarter. But Rockets end up pulling out that win. That defense is incredible. The offense really looking like it's starting to click, and this Rockets team could be dangerous come playoff time. They're at my number 4 spot. Number 3, I'm moving over to Denver. Actually, excuse me, I forgot. Not Denver. The other team that starts with D, Detroit. The Detroit Pistons, our favorite co-host, Nolan Jambor's favorite team. The Pistons sitting at number 1 in the Eastern Conference right now. They deserve all the credit in the red hot. Absolutely red hot. Winners of 11 in a row, 13-2. I know it's a little bit of a snub. 13-2 team. Why are they sitting at number 3, Mehrob? Well, I just think the Western Conference is so loaded, and this team is still a little bit on the younger side. So I'm just waiting to see how they can grow around one another. I know Jaden Ivey's also on his way back. When he comes back, this team will catapult up into the top 2, but they are not top 2 yet. Because the man, the myth, the guy that probably should win his 5th MVP in a row here, Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets are sitting at number 2. This guy is an absolute freak of nature. He's a 20.8 box score plus minus. If you guys don't know what that means, it's basically plus minus on both sides of the floor. If you're a plus, it means you're contributing on both sides of the floor. If you're a minus, turnovers usually take a hit on that rating. Points, assists, give an uptake in that rating. But Nikola Jokic is an absolute freak. He is, I think the second highest is like 11.9 with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Nikola Jokic is a monster. He is the heart and soul of that team. He's going to end up being a top 3 big man, probably going to end up being a top 10 player, probably maybe even top 5 player of all time when it's all said and done, barring injuries. But Nikola Jokic deserves all the credit in the world. This team is still doing decent. I wouldn't say they're doing great. But I mean, they're 11-3. But I think this team is going to be really dangerous. They're outside of the Thunder coming out of the Western Conference and winning the entire thing. I have the Denver Nuggets as my second favorite. My second favorite team to make it to the NBA championship and ultimately win it. But they're not number 1, and I spoiled it a little bit. The Oklahoma City Thunder are number 1. Why?
Shocking.
Because they're 15-1. That's why. Because Jeremy, it might be right with his proposition that they're about to go 81-1. 81-1. As they're on a 7-game win streak right now, and they're continuing to tear up the league. There's really not much else to say. Jalen Williams isn't even back yet. Their second best player. Chet Holmgren continues to take strides into the top 5 center conversation in the league. And then you just have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who some people call him Shea Butter. Yeah, he the second coming of Kobe Bryant, honestly. This guy, the way he's able to shoot, the way he's able, his shot is just silky smooth. You expect it to go. Every mid-range shot he takes, you expect him to hit it. His free throw game, you expect him to hit it. I believe he's 92% from his free throw line this year. He's a freak. He's unbelievable. If it wasn't for Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would be the best player in basketball. And honestly, he's absolutely in the conversation right now. But that's my list. I got the Thunder at 1, the Nuggets at 2, the Pistons at 3, the Rockets at 4, and the Los Angeles Lakers sitting at number 5. That's my first top 5 list. And remember, Jeremy, this list is fluid. The list is fluid.
This is an elite list.
Anytime.
This is an elite list. I got no issues with it. That's my 1 through 5 as well, actually. So you absolutely killed it over there. 100% Thunder at number 1. Shai, I don't know why. Whenever I watch him play, he's like, it's not the right one, but it's like a salamander, the way that he just slithers through the lane. I don't know why that's what comes to mind for me. But whenever I watch him, he gets through defenders into the paint like nobody I've ever seen. It's just insane the way that he's able to get to the hoop. I don't know why. Salamander pops in my mind. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm a little crazy for that, but he's like a little salamander the way that he does that. He's really, really good at everything in basketball. Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world, propelling the Nuggets to number 2. The Lakers with LeBron James. If DeAndre Ayton keeps playing with effort, keeps playing with effort, he's really good. But he doesn't always play with effort. We'll see how long he continues to try with his Los Angeles Lakers team. I get a feeling he's going to do it all season long because this is his last chance. If he doesn't try all season, he's not playing in the NBA ever again. This is an elite list, Rob. You can find him everywhere, all over the internet at Rob Sports Takes. Go check him out. Go check us out everywhere at the Triple Threat Show, at 3 Threat Show, at all these different platforms. Go check us out. We are live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And keep an eye out. There's going to be a couple more shows coming soon from yours truly and Mehrob Fatemi over there. But thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to today's... Yeah, what's up?
Wait.
What's up?
I wasn't here at the beginning of the show. I want to just say one thing before we head off the air. Do you remember 2 months ago when you called me crazy that the Patriots are going to win the AFC East?
Maybe.
You thought I wasn't going to bring it up. You thought you were going to get away with that.
I thought it was safe.
This morning. On the day after the Buffalo Bills getting thrashed by the Houston Texans. Josh Allen was getting pummeled. Jeremy, what say you, my friend?
I was wrong. I was wrong. You got me. Mehrob's got me here. I thought the Patriots were going to go like 7-10 this year, but looks like they're going to go like 13-4 because Drake May's an MVP candidate. I thought Drake May would be better, but I didn't think he'd be an MVP candidate. That Bills team is not going to win the division. I picked up on that last week or 2 weeks ago, I think. But this is a really, really good Patriots team. And you know what? When I'm wrong, I am wrong. Shout out Mehrob. He gets to call me out. We still haven't decided on a punishment if either of my preseason Super Bowl teams do not win the Super Bowl. So that's on you and Nolan to decide, but we'll get back to that later. But in the meantime, thank you everybody so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Triple Threat Show. We will be back on Tuesday. We'll break down all the NFL action, all the college football action. We'll go over what we should be the correct college football playoff rankings heading into the final week of the regular season. All that and more coming